Hey guys, welcome to another Man Up. Like my hair, I changed it up. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, today we're just going to be doing a men's versus women's contour technique. So I'm just going to do one side of my face as a woman and one side of my face as a man so you can see the difference. This is my Revlon Fit Me contour stick. It's got a little powder center that's supposed to help with combating oiliness. So this side of my face is going to be the men's side and that's going to be the ladies' side. But first, apparently, I just gotta fix up some hair. I guess that's really important. Gotta look my best, you know. So for the men's side, I just start with a shade 2 shades darker than my natural skin tone. I go down my cheekbone, coming down all the way to the mandible. So basically bringing it down my cheekbone and then making a harsher angle down to my chin. Same thing with my nose. I go across the bottom of my nose and then up the side all the way to my eyebrow. And then with my forehead, I go all the way down to the temple, and then I bring it from my hairline forward to about halfway down my eyebrow. I also put some right under my hairline. This is to kind of shorten my forehead. And then a little bit underneath my bottom lip as well. I'll tell you about more why I put the highlights and the lowlights where I do when we get into the blending section. So that's the men's side. Now to start with the women's side. I just kind of go down my cheekbone and then curve up to right underneath my nose. You don't have to bring it all the way to your nose, but it kind of helps to give you more of that round apple shape underneath your cheekbone. So that just shows you the difference between the men's and the women's. So with the women's, you kind of do the same thing, but you don't connect it to your eyebrow in the same way that you do with the men's. So you do bring it up to the hairline and then bring it down to the temple, but you create a curved line as opposed to a harsh edge. Same thing with the nose. You're going to do a contour, but you don't bring it up all the way to the eyebrow and the bridge of your forehead. You just bring it up 3/4 of the way up your nose. And see, that's the difference in between both sides. Now basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a slightly darker contour stick just to kind of emphasize some of the extreme lows. So right underneath my cheekbone, the very corner of my forehead contour, on both sides. It just kind of adds a little bit more dimension and a little bit more depth to the areas that I want to see a little bit more of a cut. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to blend it out, because I find that if it's not blended out and all of that product stays on your face, when you start blending in your natural foundation color, it tends to make it a little bit too golden or a little bit too yellow, a little bit too warm. So by blending it out a little bit here, you're kind of helping to make the color a little bit more muted and blend easier with your foundation. So basically why I add that extra bit of color up at my hairline is because I have quite a large forehead, so adding that shadow near my hairline actually helps to shorten my forehead. And same thing for under my nose. I add a little bit underneath my nose to kind of shorten my nose as it's kind of long and bulbous. And then here at the cheek, at the jawline, I tend to exaggerate the jawline on the men's side because a nice cut jaw is really nice on a man. For the woman's side, you really want to emphasize roundness, curves. The men's side is all about hard angles because it's just kind of the way that our society perceives masculinity and femininity. So round curves are more feminine and harsh lines and angles are more masculine. So when you're doing a man's makeup, you want to kind of create chiseled, hard lines. And on a woman's face, you want to create round, soft curves. So you still want to emphasize your cheekbones and emphasize your positive features, but you want to do so in a way that's delicate on the lady's side. So on the lady's side, I'm really bringing that shadow as forward as I can to really minimize that forehead. Because you really want to have a smaller forehead for a woman's look than you would for a man. So now I'm just going through and I'm adding highlights on the bridge of my nose, on my forehead, on my upper cheekbones. And this just kind of creates a really harsh contrast between the highs and the lows on my face. I tend to go all the way up into the eye, the under eye area for the men's, just to kind of help with dark circles and that sort of thing. It's not really as necessary for the contour. The Cupid's bow is a really nice area to kind of plump your lip. And then right underneath the jaw. This really brings your your chin forward. Now, the one right underneath the cheekbone is really important in making your cheekbone pop. So basically, if you think about a zigzag, you've got the light on top pushing the line out, and then the dark underneath, and then the light on the bottom of the dark bringing it out again. So zigzag, out, in, out. Now with the ladies, you add a little bit of white on top of the eye, and that kind of helps to brighten out the whole eye area. For women's makeup, a wide eye is far more important than it is for a man. Having large, doughy eyes isn't necessarily something that a man is always looking for. Same thing with having the chin push forward. I don't do a chin highlight all the way around like I would for a man, because you want kind of a more protruding chin for a man than you would for a woman. It's, again, all about those angles. So here is my MAC Full Coverage Foundation. It's a little bit thick for what we're doing because we're just basically going to be using this foundation to kind of blend out the contour. So basically I use this MAC Face and Body. They also have a product thinner which is more expensive. So basically what I do is I use this Face and Body color in a slightly lighter tone to just thin out my foundation. So basically once I have all the product in my hand, I just kind of blend the thinner and the foundation together. Like so. I just kind of dab it on. I didn't remove as much excess as I would have liked to before I started applying it to my face, but basically what you should do is make sure that your brush is mostly dry. Like as you can see, I'm applying it to my face and it's really coming off really skin tone. It's because I just have a little bit too much product on my brush. So basically you just want enough so that your brush isn't just absorbing all the contour color. You want enough that it creates a blending effect, not a... You don't want to mask it. You don't want to have so much foundation on your brush that you're covering the contour, but you don't want so little that all you're doing is picking up the contour and moving it around. So yeah, so as you can see, I just kind of took a little bit more off, and now I'm just going to go through. Basically what I tend to do is do the darks first. This is a key difference between the women's and the men's. I blend the side of my nose contour all the way up and across my eye. Whereas for the women's, you want to keep the lighter colors in the eye to kind of prep for eyeshadows and all that sort of thing. So yeah, so I really make sure that I'm blending out all my darker colors first, and then I contour all my lights. And I tend to try and do them in opposite directions, so that way they don't blend as quickly. And then I just kind of dab in, pick up any extra product that there might be left. This is a small stipple brush from e.l.f. It's actually, I think it's $3. It's definitely worth the investment. It's super soft and really does do the trick. I don't think I've ever found a brush that works as well as this one does. So now that you can see, once you've kind of blended in all the product, it all fades into each other really nicely, but still creates a really nice contouring effect. Unfortunately, I don't show you guys what it looks like once I've removed the excess product, which is silly on my half, but because right now there's a lot of product on my face, so it's creating a little bit more of a shine, and it's kind of hard to see the contours clearly. But once you've got a finishing powder or product on your face and you've removed the excess, it really does look quite nice. And it is... You really do get the contour and you do get the cut without the harsh lines. It's really muted, but really effective. So I'm sure you can already see, like, my cheekbone does still look defined, and my forehead still does have that contour, and I still do have that contour on the side of my nose, but it's not quite as loud as if you were using powders, and it looks a lot more natural. Now I'm just going to go ahead and start doing the lady side. So it's pretty much the same in concept, doing the darks first and then following up with the lights. The only main difference again is just making sure that you're keeping as much brightness around the eye as you can. So on the men's side, I basically blended the dark contour all the way up into my eye, but since I've added a light contour to the upper eye area, when I do that contour blend, it is just going to kind of mix with the lighter color and keep the whole eye area a little bit lighter and brighter, and keep the eyes a little bit more doughy. Because again, for ladies' foundation or makeup looks, you really do want a bigger, wider eye. It's kind of necessary, especially if you're going to be doing a more in-depth eye look with the eyeshadows and such. I don't know if you saw, but I added a little bit of a dark contour on the bottom of my bottom lip. This kind of creates the illusion that my bottom lip is so large that it's casting a shadow on my chin. So it's just kind of a lip plumping technique. So that's a really good option if you want to kind of plump your lips. So you add the little bit of a highlight on the top of your top lip to kind of give the idea that your lip is so big and it's catching so much more light, and then a little shadow on the bottom of your bottom lip. It really does help to really enlarge your lips. So I'm just continuing to blend out my contour. And I don't know if you can see the difference between the both sides, but on one side my cheek looks a little bit more round and my cheekbone looks higher than it does on the men's side. And I'm just kind of blending my foundation down through my neck. Again, I don't really add a contour to the jawline of the ladies' look just because it's just not as necessary. You can, it is thinning to add a bit of a contour under the chin, but it's not quite as necessary. It's a more, the harsher the cut, the more masculine it looks. So I'm just kind of finishing up, adding a little bit of, fixing up a little bit here and there. So basically, once you've applied your finishing powder, this is where you would apply your bronzer for the men's side. So for the ladies, you would just go underneath the cheekbone, up and around. For the men's look, you would go down the side, meeting with the eyebrow. And then with the ladies' side, you would just go around the hairline. Sorry, I rolled my eyes a bit. I'm like, oh, annoying hair in the way. So yeah, basically around the hairline. Same thing for the nose contour for the man. You want to go all the way up to the eyebrow and across the front of the nose. Whereas for the ladies, you just want to kind of go up to about 3/4 of the way up the nose. You don't really want to make that connection with the eyebrow because it creates a really harsh T. So eyebrows, nose, a harsh T shape for men, whereas for ladies, you kind of want to have that soft disconnect. So that was my cream and liquid foundation contour routine, men versus women. If you'd like to see the powder version, please let me know in the comments below. And like always, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every Tuesday and Friday. Thanks for watching. See you later, bros and hoes.